Well, you should be afraid of taking risks and pursuing something meaningful, but you should be more afraid of staying where you are if it's making you miserable. Responsibility. That's what gives life meaning. It's like lift a load. Then you can tolerate yourself, right? Because look at, you're useless, easily hurt, easily killed. Why should you have any self-respect? That's the story of the fall. Pick something up and carry it. Make it heavy enough so that you can think, useless as I am, at least I could move that from there to there. Well, what's really cool about that is that when I talk to these crowds about this, the men's eyes light up. The thing that gives that show its soul is that he's still oriented towards his family. That's what makes him honorable, is that foolish as he is, he's decided to adopt responsibility for his family and to try to bear that. And so he's a holy fool, he's not a complete fool. And it's so interesting watching the story because he suffers dreadfully as a consequence of not being able to fulfill his responsibility. You're pathological and oppressive. It's like, fine then, why the hell am I going to play? If that's the situation, if I get no credit for bearing responsibility, you could bloody well be sure I'm not going to bear any. But then, you know, your life is useless and meaningless, and you're not full of self-contempt and nihilism, and that's not good. And so that's why I think at a deeper level, with regards to men needing this direction, a man has to decide that he's going to do something.
When you're trying to go out and become successful, you have to believe in yourself no matter what. Other people aren't going to believe in you, but you have to. You have to understand that you're your best asset. You're your most valuable piece of information, and you're capable of so much more than you possibly can imagine. And you need to make sure that you constantly keep yourself in a positive state of mind, constantly believing in yourself, constantly wanting to do better, and figure out what it is that you need to do. Because once you believe in yourself, then all things become possible. And if you don't believe in yourself, people will tear you down, and people are going to tell you what to believe, and you're going to start to understand what they say and believe what they believe. But it's all about you. You are capable of so much more than you even know because you haven't fully committed to anything. You have to put all your eggs in one basket. Go all in on yourself. Be successful. Be that individual that you want to be and just make it happen. Determination is the key. Your mindset is the powerful thing in this world. So if you wake up and say you're going to do something, make it happen. Get it done. Go out there and do it. Don't make any excuses and don't make anything get in the way of what you want to do. A lot of people are going to try to tell you what they should do and what you should think and how you should do it, but a lot of times you shouldn't listen to them and just do what you know is best for you. Because at the end of the day, it's all about you. You don't have to take care of anybody else, and nobody else should be worried about what you're doing. So do what makes you the best version of you.
The best way to present yourself is to stand up forthrightly and to stretch out, you know, and to occupy some space, and to make yourself sort of vulnerable by doing that because you open up the front of your body, right? But it's a sign of confidence, and that way people are most likely to give you the benefit of the doubt. And that's a good way to start regulating your mood. But not only does it directly regulate your mood to stand up, because it's so tightly associated, like postural flexion is associated with serotonin and emotional regulation. If you straighten up and you present yourself in that manner, then other people are more likely to take you seriously. And that means they'll start treating you as if you're a number 1 lobster instead of a number 10 lobster. And that's another way that you can at least give yourself the bloody benefit of the doubt, right? And confront the world in a courageous manner. And that's a really good way of figuring out how to establish yourself in multiple competence hierarchies, because one of the general rules of thumb about how to be successful is to confront things that frighten you forthrightly and with courage. You make the world a much better place, much worse place if you don't take care of yourself. So you should bloody well take care of yourself, you know, because it's partly because you have something valuable to bring into the world. That's the thing about being an individual. It's the thing that Western civilization has always recognized, that as an individual, you have a light that you have to bring into the world, and that if you don't bring it into the world is a dimmer place, and that's a bad thing, because when the world is a dim place, it can get very, very, very dark. Conscientiousness. Well, what's that? It's a trait marker for hard work. Smart people who work hard. Now, that doesn't account for every bit of the difference between people in terms of their hierarchical structure, because hierarchies aren't perfect. They're corrupt. People get to the top sometimes because they're psychopathic, because a psychopath has to keep moving from place to place, because once he reveals himself as deceitful and untrustworthy, he has to go find new suckers to fleece. I'm not particularly unhappy with the way things have gone so far. And I'm not happy with the radical left. And so if they're irritated at me, so much the better, as far as I'm concerned. So have I conducted myself perfectly? It's like, undoubtedly no. So I've got more than my fair share of faults, and a temper is one of them. Well, I think that the Ontario Human Rights Tribunal is probably obligated by their own tangled web to bring me in front of it. If they find me, I won't pay it. If they put me in jail, I'll go on a hunger strike. And that's that. I'm not using the words that other people require me to use, especially if they're made up by radical left-wing ideologues. You have choice. Well, the thing is that people will carry a heavy load if they get to pick the goddamn load. So, and they think, well, I won't carry any load. It's like, okay, fine, but then you're like the sled dog that doesn't have a sled to pull. You're gonna tear pieces out of your own legs because you're bored. You know, people are pack animals. They need to pull against a weight. But for the typical person, they'll eat themselves up unless they have a load. This is why there's such an opiate epidemic among dispossessed. It's like they lose their job, they're done.